Hey everybody. Uh-oh. Hey everybody. Hopefully the stream is good. I see myself in about a 15-minute delay, so hey, if you could let me know if the sound is okay, that would be great, and if the sync is okay, that would be good too. So I'm going to say hi, give a shout out to folks today. Hope your holidays are going great. Um, Tonight is the eighth night of Hanukkah, so last one for me on that one. And we celebrated Christmas, and it was my mother-in-law's birthday on the 24th. She's Swedish, and they have a Names Day in Sweden, if you didn't know that. So there's a traditional name that people get on a certain day, and they celebrate that as well. Thank you, El Rondo. And good to hear the sound. Anyway, her name's Eva, so she was born on the 24th. That is the holiday for that. So we celebrated her birthday, and then Christmas over there, and then Christmas with the other family, and Hanukkah and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, hope you all had a great one. Matt, hi to you, and happy. I hope you have an awesome New Year as well. And Ron, I did enjoy Christmas immensely, and I hope you did too. And to David Smith, hello as well. Alrondo, hello to you. And TBA, hello. Gino, Merry Holidays. Love that. That's great. Mehmet Ali, want to buy a new guitar. I'm thinking of a Telecaster. Anyone knows about guitars? Yeah, so this is a good forum for people to talk about that. I am using, as you will maybe see, I'm not sure. It's hard for me to see the screen anymore, but I'm using a Squier affinity telly that I have a great affinity for. I like it. So I'm going to be playing telly today a little bit. You can hear that. This is the basest of all tellies. Well, actually, they make a Bullet, which is cheaper. TBA is half Swedish. Ah, det är svensk. Yeah, mycket bra. Okay. McDon BR, hello to you. And Robbie Love, hello. Ron. And aha, look at that. El Rondo said he treated himself with a Blackheart amp. That's great. That's right, G-Mac. I have an affinity for the affinity. Okay, Spark Practice Amp. Yeah, thank you, TBA. I've been a good boy, too, on the eating and all that. I've kept myself trying to get in a little bit better shape, going to the gym once in a while. Not that you need to know that. There's a guitar channel. Who cares about that stuff? Nissan, hello. All right. So let's start out while we're waiting a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about tab, and I'm going to do a little bit of improv. I have been neglecting the blues lately, so let's do a little bit of improv over a blues. And I'll start you off on this one. This is my kind of blues, the kind of stuff I really love to play. I'll just kind of name out the chords. Let's just listen to it for a little bit. We'll get the right level as well. Here we go. Turn this up just a bit. A to an A7 to a D. D sharp diminished. Diminished 7 actually. Back to an A. F sharp minor. B minor. E. Back to an A. Now the turnaround. D9. A. Ooh, cool chord. E augmented. All right, let's go a little bit. Last time. Do one more. All right, enough. All right, that's always the fun stuff. Let me see if I can stop this. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of blues. I always enjoy that kind of stuff. Kind of jazzier type of blues. Fun to play. Get even a little augmented action in there. All right. Okay, let me say hi to some folks. Hey, Geert, I see is on. And David Smith, hello to you. Frank, all the way from Las Vegas. Hope you're enjoying your holiday as well. All right, thank you, Garrett. Appreciate it. Okay, loving the THR2. So Nissan 570 LSX. What are you talking about? The THR? Is that a amp? Is that Yamaha amp? Oh, well. Anyway, thank you, Ron. Really appreciate it. Sharing the backing track. I can personally share it if you want it. I bought it from somebody. I didn't make it myself. So, yeah. Happy to do it. If you email me, I'll email you back. That goes for everybody on. Happy to do that, okay? Wish I could just post. All right. Anyway, So I advertised that we're going to talk a little bit about using guitar tab. So I know none of us want to admit it, but I'm guessing that some of us use guitar tab. I know I do. The reason why I did this is because I had a really nasty set of comments. And one of the things, I don't know if you guys watch Sean Daniel, or Sean Daniels as everybody calls him, but I think his name is Sean Daniel. Oh, and Embry's on too. Hey, Embry. Hope you enjoyed the blues. Anyway, good to see you on, as always. Anyway, this Sean Daniel often shares the salty comment of the week, and it's some guy complaining. Anyway, some guy complained to me about giving people tab. He said, you don't stop giving people tabs. And you know me, I like to encourage people to use their ears and so forth as well, which is always good. But I will admit to not only using tab, but thinking tab is actually pretty good, or written music, same sort of thing, is actually pretty good. But when you're learning a new song, I do have a process. Some of it sometimes involves tab. I don't think there should be any shame in that. I think it's fine to do it as long as you don't do it only. So here's my process for sharing tab. As we all know, tab is sometimes good and sometimes horrendous when you find it on the internet. So it's good to have a process. So I'll share with you what I do. Let's see if I can find it. Oh my goodness, so I wrote down the whole process and now I don't have it here. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing that I always do when I'm approaching a new song and I want to learn it, I want to learn somebody else's song, or I want to learn a chord progression or something like that, is that's right, David, I agree. David Smith says, whatever keeps you motivated. I totally agree with that. So if tab helps you with that, wonderful. I think the negatives of tab are that you can get to if you only read it from the tab, you can start sounding just like the tab, or it can be really out of time, because we find some pretty horrible tabs. All right, so anyway, here's how I do it. First thing I do when I want to learn something is I listen to it, and I listen to it many times. I'll share with you that I'm learning. One of the things I'm gonna post soon is Badge, and I realized the solo to that, and I realized I don't remember the solo all that well. I remember a couple of the lines, but I don't really remember it super well. And so, hey, Frank Rizzo is here, and hey, P, good to see you as well. And so I listen to it, and it's not only just to memorize it, but it's really kind of to hear all the notes in context and to just think about what it might be like on the guitar. So I know a lot of us know certain types of theory, and for me at least, I like to connect my ears to the song first, and then kind of overlap what I think might be the theory, even before I figure out the chords or something like that. Uh, Interesting. Badge from Cream. Badge from Cream, Frank. That's right. And George Harrison. Oh, one thing I realized about that, I always thought that it was a great song, and it is still a great song. But man, the words are ridiculous. I heard that Ringo even wrote some of the words. Like his thing is the thing about the swans in the park or something like that, and he was drunk at the time. Anyway, so that's the first thing I do is I listen to the song and I try and imagine what it's going to be and what it's going to look like. Now I don't even know the key yet. The second thing I try to do before I learn the chords or anything like that, and I think this is your preference, is I try and find the key or a key by just kind of playing a solo over it, right? So sometimes you can just pick something up, noodle around a little bit, and get a feel for what some of the notes are. Maybe try and play the melody a little bit and see if you can nail it that way. Sometimes you don't even need to go beyond that if you're just learning a solo or something like that. So I think that's often helpful is to do that. And then if I still want to go to the tab, notice I haven't talked about tab at all yet. The next thing I try and do is I try to learn the chords if I can. So I'll learn the basic chords, again, just using triads, and we talked about that before as well in a different one. So I'm not going to rehash that, but I just use triads to try and figure out the chords to the song or the harmony to the song. That's often helpful. And then at that point, once I've tried to play, I've listened to the music, I've tried to find the key, I've tried to play the melody first, and sometimes, like on a song Heaven, for example, like Bryan Adams, you can play the melody right away. It's a very easy melody to play, and sometimes it's not so hard, but sometimes it's helpful to play the melody because that'll give you clues to the solo. And then finally I look at the tab. But at that point, what I try to do is I look at multiple tabs because tabs are often terrible. And so sometimes you can look at 2 or 3 tabs and kind of triangulate between those as well. Well, one last thing I want to mention, and it's this, is, and then I think we can move on. Maybe I'll do another improv or something, or we can talk a little bit. But the last thing I want to mention is that when I write up my tabs, I almost never write up what somebody else actually has. And the reason is that I usually change it. I don't usually change it because I feel that that this is how the person played it on the record. That's not usually my motivation. What's usually my motivation is how it sounds sonically. So sometimes you might find, for example, that something sounds like I don't know, boy, this is going to be tough, but we'll see if we can get the sound. Like Leslie West might play. Boy, that sounds awful. Let's see if I can get a better Leslie West tone than that. It might be something like that. And then, that's not a great Leslie West tone either. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to fake it. Anyway, so for like Mississippi Queen, certainly he's playing stuff like, that kind of stuff. Are you going to play it there on the 2nd string, or are you going to play it here on the 3rd string? It's going to give you a different sound as well as feel different on your fingers. And some things are more amenable to us. So it depends really on your fingers. It depends on the sound that you're trying to get. And I'll vary where I play it on the neck largely because of that. And also, I'll also vary it based on what I think is easiest too. Sometimes a tab will be written in some way that's really not the way that I play guitar. It doesn't match up with the way my fingers go, and so I'll change it. So I think you should do the same thing too. You should feel free to change the tab. When people say, oh, this tab is wrong or it's incorrect or it's right or it's whatever, this is the right way to play it. You've got to play it the way that you can play it and make it sound good, right? So anyway, yeah, there are definitely other things, but we're specific. Like Nissan is saying there are apps that slow songs down too. That's absolutely true. But if we're sticking to, uh-oh, it looks like it's frozen a little bit. Hopefully that'll unfreeze. But specifically when we're talking about tabs, it's that. Now, if you're a member of Ultimate Guitar Tabs, which actually I don't get anything for them, it's not an endorsement directly, but I've enjoyed being a member of that. They often have Pro Tabs or Guitar Pro, and those also have, you can slow them down and play, and those are nice. If you're a member of TrueFire, or if you watch TrueFire, TrueFire has all that stuff. Or even just if you slow down a YouTube video, that can help a lot. All right. Yes, that's right, Embry. I can't fake a Sun Coliseum PA head in my tiny office. That's very true. That's very true. All right. Hey, Dave, how are you? Good to see Dave. Monty on. 3-card Monty. John C. I agree, John. Mississippi Queen is one of the best songs ever. Great, great stuff, right? See if I... Oh, the sound is bad, but... Right? I think that's it. All good stuff, yeah. Anyway, lots of good soloing in that one, too. All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if Sun amps are still around. I remember, boy, those Sun amps, they kind of sounded crappy. I could never get a good sound out of it. A bandmate that I had when I was younger had a Sun, and yeah, Dave, I'm going for Billy Gibbons. Scaring my wife, saying I'm going to go for Billy Gibbons. That's right. No, Frank is. I think I have the tabs in both of those. But the lesson that I just gave on Jenny on the solo, I encourage people not to use the tab. But anyway, I'm not anti-tab by any means. But I just think that, just to use the tab, you're shortchanging yourself if you do that. Now, I will say also, yeah, and tab can be immensely helpful. It really can be helpful. And, it's before my day, but I wish I had tab back in the day when I was playing and had to memorize all of those. I may start again by playing in a band. I'm courting a couple of new bands locally, so I'm hopefully going to start playing. And anyway, but back in, even not too long ago, I guess tabs were around when I had the bluegrass band, but I didn't need them for that. But back when I played in pop bands and stuff like that in the 80s and early 90s, they were just starting to have tab, and I didn't use it. But it would have helped a lot to get down like 20, 30 songs quickly. Tab can help. So anyway, I think I think use it sparingly and use it appropriately, but come up with your own solutions, and then you'll get the most enjoyment out of it. At the end of the day, it's like David said, it's really about trying to get enjoyment out of the songs, not about am I playing it, quote, correctly or the right way. It's sort of like, for those of you who know, I fish a lot. I do fly fish, but I usually don't fly fish. I do it once in a while. And for people say, oh, it's the challenge of fishing that really gets me, or stuff like that. I just think, no, I'm just out there to have fun, catch a few fish. So I'm agnostic as to all that. Now, I don't use bait, but a lot of people do, and I don't look down on them for it. It is what it is, right? fine, use bait. I'm just lazy. I don't feel like going to the bait store. So bait shop. I'll just use the grubs and stuff. Anyway, fishing for flies. No, not fishing for flies. Using flies, tying flies, and fishing for trout with flies. Okay, a lot of guitarists were fishermen. Django was a good fisherman. He used to do it by hand. He used to hand fish. Yeah. Daltrey apparently, and Clapton are fly fishermen. Anyway, is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, you can fish. Teach a man to fish, but you still can't play guitar like they can. A 3-card Monty, Dave, I don't think he caught him by noodling, like in Oklahoma, like they catch the catfish. I think it was like more, I think it was a little bit different, but yeah. Huey Lewis fly fishes, is that right? It takes a ton of money to, I think a lot of people, it doesn't, you don't have to spend a ton of money, but a lot of people do on fly fishing, and I think that's what angers a lot of people. Anyway, Dickie Betts, see, there you go. And I know Dwayne liked to fish too, so there you go. So learn how to fish. We'll make you a better guitar player. All right. Well, let's see. Why don't we, I can improv a bit more. Why don't we talk a little bit about, my sister's kids are over, so I'm not going to have it as long as usual. But I thought what might be fun to talk about was we could talk about some 80s albums. We haven't talked about that, and I thought one might be kind of fun would be to say, what would be the best 80s albums in from 1980 to 1985. Let's exclude the last half of the 80s just for today. And I wrote down a few for myself, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to try this and let you stew a little bit about that. Why don't you think of some good 80s albums, and I'm going to play about 2 minutes of a 70s album that the band had their big hits in the 80s. So let's see if we can do some of this stuff. This isn't really quite it. It's a little bit different. All right, let's try it a little bit. right. Enough. Okay, hopefully that gave you plenty of time to think about albums in the 80s that were way better than what I was just playing there. Okay. Let's see. So, what year was Images and Words? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. So I put my cheap telly away. Yeah, that's right, John. It was more or less Sultans of Swing. It was a little bit different. It was a different chord progression a little bit, but anyway, close enough. All right, so yeah, so let's see some of the albums now. So I think David Smith says Brothers in Arms. Boy, I can't disagree with that one. That's a great one. I think another, at least for me, one that I preferred better or preferred was Making Movies, and I think that was wasn't Making Movies. I think that might have been 1980, so I think that was there. Yeah. Oh, Frank Rizzo says, "Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it." Yeah. So let's see, and I see people continue to talk about Squires and Tellys, and all that's great, man. So keep talking. Let's see. Back in Black, says Frank Rizzo. Oh, yeah, that's got to be one of the top ones. I had that one written on mine. So Back in Blank. Back in Black. Sultans of Swing. That's a little Wayne's World reference, I think. Okay, so we said Back in Black. What about oh yeah, so GMAC says Synchronicity. So that was one I definitely had on. And I also like that Synchronicity was, I think, 83. Yeah. For those about to rock, was that? Oh, hi, Shiner Sound Studio. Great to see you. And RMG, hello. Good to have you on. Good to have you on. Oh, UFO. David Smith. That's right. UFO was still going. They had some good stuff in the 80s still. Oh, Robbie Love says Texas Flood. I got that one written down. I didn't have the UFO one written down. So let's see. So Robbie Love also says Z-Bop. What's Z-Bop? What's that from? Star Castle, Fountains of Life. Fountains of Light. I don't know that one, Embry. John Lennon's Comeback, says Garrett. So Double Fantasy, I think it was called. Yeah, there's some good songs on it. It was just good to have, it was just good to have John Lennon back after all those years. And wasn't great. Your mother called. So the question, GMAC, is we're trying to name albums from the years 1980 to 1985. Hey, BRP, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm winning. Oh, is that, Robbie Love says I'm winning. Is that Santana? I didn't have that one listed. And Garrett says McCartney too. I think a lot of people say Tug of War from McCartney. I think just because it went to number one. I think that was like 81 or something, or 82, wasn't it? I'm not a huge fan of that. Of McCartney 2, I think, is a little better. But, 1984, says GMAC. I had that one written down. Van Halen. Oh, and Moving Pictures, is that Rush? Yeah, Frank Rizzo says Moving Pictures. Roll 69 Rockin', says Duran Duran. I don't know any Duran Duran, so you'd have to say. Like, I only know the songs, like Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio. Yeah, I agree, Garrett. Tug of War was only so-so. So David Smith says rare yes on Z-Bop. Oh, Santana. Okay, thank you, Robbie. Punch the Clock. What year was that? Because I had a couple of Elvis Costello ones written. I had Imperial Bedroom written down. I love that album. And then, what was the other one I had? Oh, Get Happy I had written down too. I had both of those written down from Elvis Costello. I think those are both excellent. El Loco, ZZ Top. I didn't have that one, but I had Eliminate. What was it? Eliminator. I had that one written down. El Loco. What's on that song? What's on that album, Shiner? Oh, geez, the Pretenders. Yeah, the Pretenders' first album was phenomenal. That was 1980, and I think the third one, I can't remember what it was called, but that one was really good too. It had Back on the Chain Gang. Oh, what the heck was that one called? I think it was their third album. No, it's a really good one. It had Middle of the Road too. What a rocker that is. David, I was trying to think of some Tom Petty. I can't remember any great Tom Petty from those times. There must have been some songs for sure. I think, but I think his third album was, which was his biggest one, was 78 or 79. Yeah, I agree. Chain Gang is a great song, and I love Middle of the Road. Oh yeah, and G-Max has Blizzard of Oz. Yeah, Diary of a Madman too. Both those, right? Good stuff. The Snake. Oh, Tube Snake and Pearl Necklace. That's right. On El Loco. That's right. What was the one that had Sharp Dressed Man though? Was Eliminator, right? Oh, My City Was Gone, of course. And Brass in the Pocket. Pretenders had such great, and Kid, such great stuff. Oh, BRP says Thriller, Michael Jackson. Well, I'm gonna say rock albums, so I'm not gonna include that. But you can include it. It certainly had a lot of hits on. I think it's fair. Michael, I wish we didn't have to lose you the way we did, and in so many different ways, right? Oh yeah, Frank says Pyromania, Def Leppard. I agree. Dylan had something in 1985, like Biography or something like that. Yeah, Eliminator was a great album for sure. Now Robbie says Neil Young Trans. I didn't like that album of Neil's. That's right. The Pretenders were from Akron. Their city was gone. Thunder and Lightning. Now a lot of people say Master of Puppets. I'm not a fan of Metallica. I don't love Metallica. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. But a lot of people would say that. Purple Rain. Oh yeah. When was that? That had to be like 1983 or something, right? Or was that later? See, I can't remember. Grateful Dead had one. That's right. Well, certainly if Purple Rain was in that era, gotta count it. Yeah, I agree, Frank. I'm a huge fan of the two Bruce Springsteen albums that came out or there were three. He came out with The River in 1980. He came out in Nebraska in 82, and Born in the USA in 84. I like Born in the USA a lot. I like The River a lot. I'm not a huge fan of Nebraska. But that's just me. I think a lot of people really like it. Jefferson Starship. Freedom at Point Zero. Was it actually good? I don't know. I don't know that one. I saw Bruce live so many times. I loved the tour in 1984. Just so much album, so much stuff. G Max says Purple Rain was in '84. Definitely, I didn't have that one on my thing. I think the River. I thought the River was in 1980. I could be mistaken. J.J. Cale. Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know that. I don't know that album. Mark. Hey, hello. By the way, Fenderman. Fenderman says I'm from New Jersey and don't like Bruce. Oh my gosh. That's okay. Do you like any of that post-punk stuff that was big in North Jersey until it got moved to until the Seattle Sound stole it? Rory Gallagher. I don't know anything that Rory did in the 80s. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so it's before the we built this city on rock and roll. uh, I don't know. Some of his songs are okay. I think that's a classic album. Really, really like it. Let's see. Motley Crue, Theater of Pain. I wouldn't know that one, Frank. Yeah, what did Brian Adams had one that was kind of decent. I don't know. Here's a couple that I wrote. I don't know any Bon Jovi rock 69 roll 69 rockin'. So you'll have to name the albums, but there we go. Here's how about oh, nobody mentioned Avalon. Oh, that's right, Billy Squier. Don't Say No. That had some good songs on it. What Lonely is the Night, right? That I thought that was Led Zeppelin when it came out. It sounded like it. That's a good one. I like that one, that Billy Squier one. Uh, let's see, Joshua Tree. That was like 89. That was after 85 for sure. Uh, we said, oh, nobody mentioned Scary Monsters. Scary Monsters. So, yeah, Heaven's a good song, TBA, I agree. I like some others, but Heaven is good. I like that one that he did for that Johnny Depp movie. I can't remember what that was called. When You Love a Woman, I think it was called. I kind of like that. Yeah, but it's a pop tune. Van Halen, Fair Warning. That's right. So Fair Warning is in there, and so is Women and Children First was 1980. So that would count too. I like Fair Warning better personally. A lot of critics didn't like it. It was more artsy before they went pop. Smoking in the boys' room. Thin Lizzy. Was Thin Lizzy still in the 80s? I don't remember that. I thought they were dead by then. So there's no Bowie fans here. So I love Scary Monsters. I also like Let's Dance. That's where Stevie Ray had his big break, right? And I love Dire Straits. Somebody mentioned Brothers in Arms, but also making movies. That's one of my favorites. How about Ghost in the Machine? Oh, Stray Cats. Yeah, they must have had something there. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Uh, Women and Children First. I know a lot of people are probably not going to agree with me on this, but Against the Wind, I think, is a 1980 album. I like that album a lot. I love the song. I like the song. I love the song Against the Wind. I really do. Something about Bob Seger singing it with a real kind of raspy voice. Just, I know it's sentimental and maudlin and all that, but there you go. That's right, GMAC, Toto 4. That was good. Let's see, Frontiers, is that Journey? Pink Floyd, The Wall. Was that... So, Rolf, I would agree that that's got to be there, but I think that was 79. No jacket required. I don't know. I really don't like that. Yeah, I know TBA is not into Seeger. I know that. I remember. And Bruce and a few others. And the Stones. You are a bit of a contrarian. Oh, you know what we haven't said is you're spelling it like Pete Seeger, not Bob Seger. I like a lot of Pete Seeger stuff. Uh, Easy Lover, yeah, that's a good pop song. I agree. That might have even been later though. Joe Jackson's finally some GMAX said Night and Day. I love that. I love Everything Gives You Cancer. That's a great song. And so that's a lot of good stuff. There was another one that he did with Cha Cha Loco and some other songs. It was really good. I can't remember when that came out. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, Elvis Costello came out with Imperial Bedroom in 83. That's a good one. Take on Me. I don't know. I'm suspecting that was like later. Maybe it would have been 85, but I don't think it was before that. It could have been like 86, 87. Oh, you know what nobody mentioned was Tattoo You. I wrote down that. So Tattoo You was, I think, 81. Take on Me was from 86, says Fenderman. Easy Lover was 85, so there you go. So that would count, but not an album. Was that an album? That was a collaboration that he did with Philip Bailey, right? TBA 84. Fenderman always knows this stuff, as well as who played on whatever. Now, nobody mentioned one of my favorite albums of the time. I haven't listened to it in a long, long time, so I don't know if it would be any good. But but um, is Empty Glass. I like that one. So Fenderman says Tattoo You is leftover songs. Wasn't Start Me Up from Tattoo You and Waiting on a Friend? Those were good songs. Start Me Up is the worst album cover ever. I don't know. I think Spinal Tap's Smell the Glove was worse. Is that right? Microsoft bought it for $10 million for commercials. Blues Brothers. Yeah, I don't know. Stargazers in the Night of UFO. Okay. I don't know any of the UFO stuff that late, but yeah. Let's see, nobody mentioned Scarecrow. So I like that one a lot. Okay, yeah, Robbie says Empty Glass is great. So I got to listen to that again. I remember I liked that. Is that the one with slit skirts? I know Empty Glass is on it. Anyway, I can't remember. Pete Townsend, White City. A Ringo album. There was a Ringo album. Okay. We'll put some water in your glass. Okay, Waiting on a Friend was Mick Taylor from Goat said. Well, it's still pretty damn good. Boston. Was there a Boston one? I don't think there was any 80s Boston album until 86 was, I don't know, maybe. Stephen Bishop, Careless. Oh, that's a good one. Let My Love Open the Door. That's right, that was the one. Slit Skirts was earlier. Okay, thanks. Rough Boys. That's right, Rough Boys was it. I Want to Buy You Leather. I don't know, maybe I wouldn't like it. I got to listen to it again. Scorpions, Love at First Sting. Awesome. All right. Well, I didn't have too many else written down. I had Permanent Waves written down, but I like Making Pictures better. Or is it Making Pictures? Yeah. Moving Pictures by Rush. Oh, GMAC says Holy Diver. That's right. The Holy Diver came out then. I have that one written down, but I didn't mention it. But I do have it written down right under Let's Dance. Guns N' Roses. I don't know if there's any Guns N' Roses. Aldo Nova. Oh, I don't know. Aldo Nova. Was it any good, though? I don't know. Life is just a fantasy. Styx. Oh, Styx had they had a huge thing with Paradise Theater, right? Wasn't that their big thing in 1980 or 81? Wow. Pete playing in Brixton. When was that, Geert? So Geert says he saw Pete playing in Brixton. The gig was not full. That's amazing. I can't imagine seeing Townsend there. Styx Kilroy was here. All right. Oh, we didn't mention center field either. So that's an interesting thing. So how about some? I'm gonna get going because my sister and her kids are over. But why don't we just have one more topic if we can talk about it? So I think we've run a lot of those. I learned a few of those of the albums that I'm gonna go listen to again to check out. Elf Hermie, who I don't think is on today, mentioned Tommy Two Tone's album he thought was really good. So might want to listen to that again myself. So Cars Heartbeat City. I'm not familiar with that one, GMAC. What's on that one? What songs are on there that I might know? Oh, the Tubes. Yeah, the Tubes were pretty. I remember. What's the? I played that for a Battle of the Bands once. I played that Talk to You Later, and they also had She's a Beauty. Right, those were their two hits. The Talk to You Later has Steve Lukather playing the guitar on that one. It's a smoking solo. I remember playing that once for Battle of the Bands. That was our big number. I practiced that like crazy. I didn't play exactly what Lukather was playing, but I improvised. But Man, I practiced a ton and a ton and a ton. Yeah, I think Robbie. I think the Tubes guitarist was Steve Lukather on those songs. So, who from Toto? He was a studio guy. So I'm not sure that the Tubes guitarist. You would know if you saw him, but I never saw him, and I don't know too much about the band, so I don't know if the Tubes guitarist was there. Their live show. I didn't make any albums in the '80s, Matt, but thank you. Their live shows were legendary. They were like taking off their clothes before Billy Armstrong even thought of that. Roger Steen. Okay, there you go. All right. Well, what are some of your favorite concerts that you saw? Kind of like what Geert said. So either you went to them on an off time, or you saw them in a small venue and later they got big. Um, I never saw anybody uh, who was big, who eventually got big. Um, but I saw a few people in a small venue. But I did see a few people at small venues who were sort of past their prime before they got big again. Peter Frampton was one of those guys, and Van Morrison. I saw Van Morrison at the Fox Theater in Detroit. It was a 2,000 seater or 1,000 seater, and really nice. And I saw Meatloaf at Harpo's, which is a tiny bar. But that's about it. I saw some other stuff too that was pretty cool. I saw Joe Walsh in probably one of his most drunken times at the Newport, which was pretty interesting. It was a good concert. If you were at Woodstock, you wouldn't remember. So Dave says he was at the Jam at JFK 1983. Foreigner, Tommy Two-Tone, Joan Jett. Wow, that's pretty cool. McDonbiar saw Pete at Parkhead along with Little Feat. Wow, that sounds like an amazing concert. I mean, so does Dave's. Somewhere in England, George had some great songs. Okay. So Frank was at Woodstock, but as Fenderman said, you wouldn't remember. Oh yes. Oh, we didn't mention in the videos 90125, or in the albums 90125. That's a pretty decent one. Zebra from Long Island. I never heard of them. What kind of stuff do they play, Robbie? Wow. GMAX says he saw John Mayer at a theater in Knoxville. When it was half empty. Yeah, the Frampton one was basically nothing. It was empty, small bar, and it was empty. Amazing. Uh, so when did you see John Mayer in that place, GMAC? Tragically hip in a small venue. Okay, Siebes. uh, so I'm not familiar with Tragically Hip, but I'm going to write them down because I'm going to listen. I'm going to check that out. Bebop Deluxe. Dylan at Wembley with Santana. But I think at Wembley, wouldn't that have been a big concert? I mean, I'll count Woodstock. I guess that's it. I saw Dylan at the Ohio State football stadium. The only thing noteworthy was he still sounded really angry, which is good. After he did his religious thing where he was supposedly not angry anymore, and then he had the guy from G.E. Smith. He had guy from Saturday Night Live as his guitarist, which was pretty cool. Oh, Tragically Hip have been motivated to mythical status here in Canada because the lead singer died. Triumph and Motorhead and Marino in an open-air concert in football ground. Peter at the Frampton at the Providence Civic Center. Okay. I got to see some this year. That's a goal of mine, is to see some more local music and to actually get back on... yeah, thanks, Garrett, on Dylan being angry but not angry. I got to get back into playing out and also listening to a lot more live music. That's this year. That's my New Year's resolutions. Are not going to be about getting buff or anything like that. It's about actually experiencing music and sharing it a little bit more live instead of just on the interwebs, which of course I enjoy as well. So anyway, all right. So I think I'm going to get going. My sister's over, so I see they're back, and maybe we'll make a little lunch, have a little of that. And hey, if you guys can think of topics, write them in the notes down below, or in the notes, the comments below, or in the comments to a video. Always good to have some topics to talk about, and to and so forth. And as always, I thank you all for joining me on Sunday. Always good to see you guys and to share it with you and to play a little bit for you and with you. All right, and we don't have any gals here. We need to somehow get more women on the channel here, don't we? I tried growing a beard. That doesn't seem to be helping. Maybe we should talk about maybe we should talk about great women in rock next time. So that can be something we can think about. All right. Everybody have a great Sunday. I'm going to say goodbye to a few people. Nissan 570, thanks for joining. Fenderman 73, Garrett, TBA, Ron Shack. As always, Frank from Las Vegas, good to see you. RMG, great to have you on. David Smith, as always. Matt, always great to have you. El Rondo, so good to have you on, as always. I even, look at this. Now, there was some controversy last time about whether I goop up my hair or not. I didn't last week. I just combed it back, but there could have been some residue in there. I'm not claiming I never do. This is gooped up for you guys, all right? So it's gooped up for you guys. But a lot of times what will happen is I'll just come out of the shower and just wet it, and my hair stays wet for a long time. So last week it was just the water residue. I didn't put any extra stuff in. There may have been some residue in there. Anyway, so there we go. Yeah, now that my Santa gig is over, I might shave my beard. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of liking it, though. I'm kind of enjoying it. All right. Everybody, if I missed you, I apologize. And thank you for some of the first-timers here. Yeah, thanks for coming. We'll see you on down the road. Okay. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye. Happy New Year, everybody. I forgot to say that. We'll see you in 2020. All right. Happy New Year.